Welcome back to the Self-Clearing Foundation series. If you've been practicing for the last week, by now your finger muscle testing skills are going to have greatly improved and you can accurately get a yes/no response, and you can find if there's an issue or an idea that's triggering you, and you can clear the emotion attached to that. So you've got now the foundation for the rest of the foundations. You've got the basic skill down pat. What we're going to go further into today is emotional baggage, what it is and how it works. And we're going to look at how to find it through the body, so through the physical. One of the most simple ways to find out what's going on beneath the surface is to pay attention to our body. If you're interested in a product like this, it's probably true for you that you understand a little bit about the body-mind connection. The body and mind are not really separate. The way I've come to regard it after about 15 years of doing this kind of work is that our body is really like our hardware. It's the system in which we're living, and the thoughts and emotions and beliefs are the software and the patterns that are running on that hardware. As we grow up, we pick up emotional baggage. What this means is that on an unconscious level, we start picking up emotional patterns that can flare up or get in the way of us doing what we want to do. Today, we're going to look at how to access those patterns and clear them through the body itself. Now, this begins by paying more attention to the body. I like to think of the body as a feedback system that is always talking to us. In the last video, I talked about the example of public speaking. It's not uncommon for a singer or a speaker or anyone who has to perform to start getting a sore throat maybe the day before or 2 days before. In fact, sometimes it's so predictable that we know there's something going on. We know we've got some resistance or some fear or some stuff coming up that sort of splits us in half. It's like one of us wants to go do the thing, but something in the unconscious, a childhood pattern is sitting in there going, I don't want you to public speak, I don't want you to sing on stage, I don't want you to get the job, whatever it is. Today we're going to work out how can we access that. So, very simply, we're going to go back to our system of testing, yes, no, and we're going to plug into the body. So I just want you to kind of really bring your consciousness into your physical body. Take a deep breath. And feel your whole body, from your feet all the way up to your head, your back, your front, your arms, your legs. Feel your breathing. Notice what emotional state you're in, whether you're relaxed or tense. And then you can really tune into what's going on in the body. So I can feel for me right now, there's a little bit of tension in my right knee, and I'm curious, is there any patterns there? So I can check into that. Left foot good, right foot good, left knee good, right knee not good. So there's an unlock when I feel into my right knee that tells me there's something going on there. It's an unlock because it's not okay, because there's some active pattern that's blocking the flow of energy through that part of my body. So once again, I'm going to tune in. I'm going to go through the emotions chart and checking into my right knee. There's a fire, earth, metal, water. There's a kidney, there's a bladder, pissed off, paralyzed, wall, fear. So there's a fear in that part of my body. So simply, I'm going to clear it by holding these points once again, same as last week. Because we're doing the body, I'm going to really feel into it. Take a couple of breaths this time. And I can actually feel that part of my body relaxing, opening. There's another one in my hip that's quite tight. And I know these areas because I'm constantly working on them. I'm doing personal training, I'm stretching, I'm doing my yoga practice, and I'll clear patterns out of the body each day, and I'll notice that the body begins to stretch and open. So once again, we're going to feel into the hip this time. Fire, earth, metal, water, wood, central. There's a shame, there's a vulnerability. So this kind of tells me that wherever I'm going, I'm walking forwards, where I'm heading in my life, there's a sense of vulnerability. There's a fear in me that I'll be vulnerable, I'm at risk if I keep doing that. So I'm going to clear that again by holding the same points. If I want to be creative, I can start rubbing some of the other points that you'll see on your chart. So I can rub the points between the index, finger and thumb, which relate to the large intestine meridian as mapped out on your chart there. So why would we want to do this? This is the type of clearing that I do for health. I know that many conditions that my clients come to me with, serious or not so serious, have built up because there are emotional patterns running beneath the surface. Now, what you're going to begin to realize, if it's not obvious to you already, is that various emotions turn up in the body in certain ways. So for example, fear will start to affect our bladder and our kidney function. Unexpressed anger will start to affect our liver function. This is common for the entire system. So if we look at that 5-element chart, you can see maps of emotions that affect different parts of the body and different Chinese meridians that start to turn up in our body later on down the track if we don't clear them. So the philosophy under this is we want to be able to release any emotion. People ask me, is there such a thing as a good emotion? I'm not really coming from a place of good or bad, just that in this system we're looking at an emotion as a trapped energy. So any energy that's moving through the body is fine. It's not going to show up in this system of testing and clearing. What I'm looking for is, oh, my knee is really stiff and really tight. That's because I'm holding on to something. Or maybe my jaw, or I clench my jaw when I sleep. So I'm going to wake up in the morning and go, what pattern is behind that? Testing once again, fire, earth, metal, water, kidney, bladder, pissed off, paralyzed, or terrified this time. So the clenching in the night is to do with the terror about something. As we progress through this series, I'm going to teach you how to work out what the emotion is about. For now, I just want you to get good at finding an emotion and releasing that emotion. So this week, your homework is really simple. I want you to do some clearing based on the sensations in your body. So if you've got recurring aches and pains, stiff necks, backache, those sorts of really common things, I want you to feel into that and start clearing the emotions. If you've got more serious stuff, you can start feeling into that as well. So whatever disease or illness, you can say, is there an emotion behind XYZ disease? You're going to get a yes or a no. Trust me, most things have emotions behind them or around them. This doesn't necessarily mean that the emotion is the cause of the illness, but that the two things are associated together. So I offer this technique not as a replacement for Western medicine, but as a complement to shifting the emotional aspect. So we have a medicine system that's incredibly effective on the chemical level and on the physical level, but often ignores the emotional aspect. Once you add this sort of clearing, you're going to start to be able to make progress on the emotional healing of your body. Oftentimes that's going to show up physically too. So let's say you start working on your knees that have been stiff, you're going to notice over time they become less stiff, they become more fluid. Let's say you do get a sore throat every time you go to sing or speak or do a job interview. You're going to notice that stops and you speak beautifully, you speak clearly. Let's say you're feeling contraction in your belly when you go to meet someone for a date or when you are about to be intimate with your lover. Feel into that feeling and start clearing it and notice what changes. So this second week is about getting the tools to get embodied and start shifting the emotions in the body.